AwesomeMan67 underscore says hey chits. AwesomeMan67 underscore says welcome to another MCYTVID. AwesomeMan67 underscore says today is my first day in MC Survival single player VID. AwesomeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeMan67 underscore says let's go. AwesomeMan67 underscore says bruh. AwesomeMan67 underscore says why Ami in this bone. AwesomeMan67 underscore says her is so trees. AwesomeMan67 underscore says that sussy rizzer omong. AwesomeMan67 underscore says skibby tullet vibes. AwesomeMan67 underscore says brrrrrrrrrrr. AwesomeMan67 underscore says iayayayayy. AwesomeMan67 under. AwesomeMan67 underscore says why did that take so long Toon Min. AwesomeMan67 underscore says sussy. AwesomeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeMan67 underscore says I'm in a car feed. AwesomeMan67 underscore says oh. AwesomeMan67 underscore says. AwesomeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeMan67 underscore says what should he craft? AwesomeMan67 underscore says how do I craft this to see? AwesomeMan67 underscore says I mean. AwesomeMan67 underscore says a sword. AwesomeMan67 underscore says it ses I need demons. AwesomeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeMan67 underscore. AwesomeMan67 underscore says I'm in a mine for Simons. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says die cow. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I hate cow. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay imina wate. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says bruh. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's only 5. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says imina cry now. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says why. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says WA. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Y. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Y. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Y. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Y. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says cry. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I need dantdm. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says please slow. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I am sad okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's only 10. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says imina crie. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says gomdofmstfngl k jasonfgl k jane slowed k javnstf. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I am quitting MC. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's too slow. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I need to watch Skibby Taliot. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says ipag jast jake sapajafigwajud fgoyosh fgoyos doifugojio goyo hol royog here. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I need iPad. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says iPad I0 pad. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says PSL. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says INEE. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's almost done. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's night now. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says opngongog mogme. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says a calves. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says why is too dark. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says yes Iron. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Iman's word. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says what? AwesomeeMan67 underscore says ISRLY dark. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Heplipel. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I am build. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says blind. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says oh okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says what? AwesomeeMan67 underscore says it's Agan. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says YYYYYYYYYYY. D7 underscore says it's a dark Agan. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says help. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I just want Titus. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says irons. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says where's Dios? AwesomeeMan67 underscore says that's scary. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Palm Hongogme. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says what's that? AwesomeeMan67 underscore says help. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says what's that? AwesomeeMan67 underscore says oh. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says yes prob friendly. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says bulletin time and ago. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says this cave has 00000 diamonds. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says help. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I can't see nothing. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says help love. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says AHH. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says bruh what. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says that's Susie. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Noah. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says Imana quit. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay slash. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says this game is too scary. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says apiadfgiholicsfgapixt / AwesomeeMan67 underscore says IOM so abst casries. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says scare. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says that was RLY scary. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says KSLDFJG, LKSDJF, GLKJSDF, GKLJ. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says this game is ST*PID. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says is so Susie. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says I'm quitting MC forever. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says okay. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says BYYYYYYYYY. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says forever. AwesomeeMan67 underscore says. AwesomeeMan67